subgroup target, FY19 subgroup target data has come in, and I just want to share with you what the targets are. You know, of course, all students and economically disadvantaged are the same because all of our kids are considered that. So those targets are the same. But this is English language arts. Here was our 2018 targets. That's the 3% improvement, what it has to be, and that's the target for 2019. That's for all students, economically disadvantaged. Of course, then it's subgroups, so they do your black students, what the targets are, what the 3% improvement needs to be, and what the final target score for 2019 needs to be. We have too few in English and Hispanic, but we do have a multiracial subgroup, which is probably about, I think about 15 students, at least 15 students. So here are the targets for that. And then students with disabilities, this is what it was in 2018, this year's report. That's the 3% improvement. That's what it needs to be 2019. And then our white students, that's what they were. That's the improvement, 3%, and then that's the final score. All right, so just wanted to share those with you. That's English. Can you go to math? Then they sent the math targets as well. All students, here it is right there, and you see what the 2019 target needs to be. And of course, our economically disadvantaged and our students with disabilities, if you do the 6%, then of course that's the green flag with the star. Here's our black students on this line, and what it needs to be, economically disadvantaged. As you can see in math, it was 40, so it was pretty high. And then, because remember, this was the baseline year. This year was the baseline year. So you hit it there, that's your 3%, that's what it needs to be. That's what we're shooting for. All right, and then we did have enough in math for multiracial, and then of course students with disabilities, and then of course our white students. All right, science, same thing, all students, and 67 this year, and well, 67 in 2019, 65. All right, so you can see the data. Here's our black students. Of course, economically disadvantaged is the same. Didn't have enough in multiracial, English language, and Hispanic. But here's our students with disabilities. And of course, our white students. Okay, and then last, go up to social studies. And it's the same thing, all students. Here was the baseline, that's the 3%, and that's what we're shooting for in 2019. Then here are black students, the same, economically disadvantaged, it's the same as all students. We did have enough in the multiracial category subgroup, so that's that. And students with disabilities, as you can see that, and then of course our white students. All right, so those are our FY targets for FY19 and our subgroups. We did a walkthrough. Go to, yeah, this is the high school. Okay. They did a walkthrough, a district walkthrough, and real quick, they looked for instructional grouping, evidence of use of devices to produce work, instructional grouping, and evidence of writing. So overall, we still, as a school, the majority of our instruction is still whole group. And we do understand that it depends on what day they came in and what we had going on. So there's a lot of variables that plays into that. But our small groups, 35% are independent groups. So we had some of that going on. This is good here, 90% of evidence of writing. And then 10% of, no, hover over that, it'll tell you exactly how many. They did 18, I think they did 20, they visited 20 classes. I think this is 2 people right here. You're right there, I think that's, yeah, that's 2 people. And then evidence of devices being used to produce work. Out of 2017 was doing it, and 3 was not. But like I said, it depends on what you're doing that day and all of that. Then they break it down by departments in English, science, social studies, and math. Can you drop, go up, Ms. Ingram? Yeah. So in English, you know, here's your, now they did 7 classes in English. So 4 was small group, just 2 was whole group, and then 1 was independent. So that's the instructional grouping for English that was happening that day. 5 out of 7 was using devices to produce work, and 2 were not that particular day. And then evidence of writing, 5 had evidence of writing and 2 did not. So I don't know who the 2 is. I don't know if that's the same 2 people or not. They didn't give us names. And then math, whole group, they visited 6 classes, 5 were doing whole group, and 1 person was doing small group pairs. I don't know which, I don't remember what day this was. I know it was not announced to us. I was standing out here and talking to Dr. Henry, and I just saw, I think it was Dr. Dunn, and that's when I learned they were doing the walkthrough. But y'all know my feelings on that. They don't have to tell. We just do business as usual. It don't matter when they come in, and it doesn't matter when a walkthrough is being done. All right, that's 5. So then, yeah, it was 6. That was, everybody was showing evidence of producing work with devices, and everybody was showing evidence that there was some type of writing going on. So that's pretty good, especially with us, with our thing being literacy across all content areas. So in science, they did 3 classes. 2 was small group, 1 was whole group. There was evidence in writing, and there was evidence of using devices to produce work. Okay, so that's good. And then social studies, they did 4. Whole group, all 4 was whole group instruction. 3 of them was using devices to produce work. And so that means 1 was not, and then all 4 showed some evidence of writing. So just want to give you feedback on the district walkthrough. And like I say, sometimes they come unannounced, just like our walkthroughs when we do our walkthroughs as administrators. Okay. Any questions about this? Any questions about the targets? Anything of that nature? Okay. You want to talk about you? All right, just some small housekeeping stuff. Last time we met, we talked about dress code and talked about placing it on the announcements. And I'll be happy to do that, but we still having issues enforcing it. We still having some of us are just turning a completely blind eye to students in dress code. And every now and then, we'll do a little sting. I know Ms. Ingram did a sting yesterday. And I think she had like 27 second period, I think.
27, I had 50 total, 27 second period.
Yeah, we had 50 total. And these are not students that's like half tucked. These are students walking down the hall completely untucked. I mean, they just walking down the hall, and, you know. And my gauge to that, if they're walking down the hall and they're walking by you comfortably, then that's not a zone that they're worried about dress code being checked. You know, if they walk up on me, this is how I engage me. If they walk up on me out of doing something that they don't have no business, and they feel real comfortable just to walk by me, then there's a problem. If I walk up on a student and he's out of dress code or she's out of dress code and I don't see him catching and tucking and stuff like that, then that means that they didn't get comfortable with me to where I'm not enforcing it. But I can assure you when they walk up on me that they're grabbing and tucking, because every time I see it, I pull them in. So, you know, me announcing it and remind to do this, remind to do that, and remind to do this, and then it's not being enforced, then that's just further fueling the fact that it's not being enforced. If I announce dress code every day, and then it's not being enforced, that's just reminding them that, okay, that announcement doesn't mean anything, okay? So we have to enforce the dress code. And it doesn't, what you have to remember, it doesn't fall on the administration to get pushback. I don't get pushback when I do a dress code, or she don't get pushback when she does a dress code. Who gets the pushback is your colleagues. If you got a colleague that's enforcing dress code, that's who's getting the pushback. That's whose day is ruining it. It's not ruining my day. But there are those of us that enforce it that get pushback because so many of us just don't do it. And that's the truth for those in here that enforce it. They can tell you because they come in and we, and some of us sometimes, I see it. So you're not by turning a blind eye, think about what you're doing to your colleague that is enforcing it. And it's up to me to make sure it's getting done across the school, because I don't want the few that's enforcing it to get frustrated, and then they stop enforcing it. Now we ain't got nobody but us enforcing it. Because as a person that's enforcing the rules, you get tired of getting pushed back, and you get tired of ruining your day, and you get tired of, and you know, we had some yesterday with t-shirts on.
We had 3 yesterday. If they have on a jacket when you check dress code, make them unzip the jacket. One boy had on a Mountain Dew t-shirt. He had made it all the way to 4th period. One girl had on a tank top with her jacket. And the other boy had on a striped, multicolored striped polo shirt.
So the only thing we can do, the only thing I can do to make sure it gets done is if it's in your 1st period and it gets to 2nd or 3rd period, then I'm gonna come see you and you're gonna tell me why you didn't check dress code. It doesn't make sense for somebody to have a jacket on and be in a t-shirt. That don't even make sense.
Coach Watts had an issue the other day. He had a boy set up period in blue jeans. Boy threw down because he made it all the way to 2nd period. Nobody said anything to him.
And like I tell you, you ain't got to fuss with them. Just tell them, I'm not sure about those pants. Go up there and let them check it. Or I'm not sure about that skirt. Go up there and let them check it. That's all you have to do. And put it on a referral and just put, not sure, will y'all check it? And we'll tell them that it's blue jeans or you can't wear it or you can't wear it. Yes, ma'am.
So when they walk into 1st period, they should already be tucked and have the belts on.
Some of them, well, they come from the cafeteria.
Right.
Okay. When they walk in 1st period, now that's up to your tolerance level.
Right.
Because they should be tucked. Now, if you want to say you untuck and send them across the hall, then that's fine.
It takes them 10 minutes to go outside, tuck their shirt and put their belt on, so, you know. I'm just
Okay,
wondering.
well, then you just say, nope, go over there and get a dress code. And that'll stop that, I assure you.
What about these with these flipping headbands? They're like,
Don't wear headbands ain't even in the dress code.
Okay,
Okay,
they're
so
not-
what we did, because students wear them and they wouldn't get out of control, then we put a thing in the handbook of what they need to be.
Okay.
Headbands and not wearing headbands is not in the dress
okay,
code.
just.
So we had a lot of problems with them tying them, wearing scarves
Yeah,
and all that
that's-
kind of
like
stuff.
I've got-
So they have to be elastic.
Okay.
And it's in the handbook.
Okay.
Can't be more than 3 inches wide.
Can't be tied.
No tie.
No.
Can't be tied? Ooh.
No, it can't. It has to be elastic. It's in the handbook. It's in the teacher handbook and in the student handbook.
Don't make me about 6 feet.
All right. But again, all we got to do is point. It's too easy. I'm not asking you to get in an argument with them. You know, you got a dress code. Go get a dress code. I'm not doing nothing. Disengage. Hit the button or call us on the phone and we'll come get them. But the blind eye stuff has got to stop. because it's killing your colleagues. It ain't killing me. Because I guarantee you, when I walk in the hallway and they see me, they're talking because I enforce it. But it's killing your colleagues is who it's killing. When they go sixth period and say, why do you have that on? Then what's the response? Oh, you the only one, you make me, you make me, ain't nobody else said nothing to me. Why you gotta bother me? Why you, and that's sixth and seventh period. You know, and we know they gonna make up stuff. You know, we know that. They got default things that they fall to. Well, Dr. Gray saw me, he didn't say nothing. I ain't seen him all day. But all that stuff doesn't matter, y'all. Let's just, whatever the policies are, let's just enforce them. And like I said, you don't have to get into argument, but it's rough on your colleagues that are enforcing the dress code. And they can tell you how difficult it is. And it disrupts the class, it disrupts their whole day. Okay? So if I get a dress code issue and I'm gonna come talk to you, you need to tell me why that ain't mine, because we can't keep doing this. We've been talking dress code. This is my 11th year. We've been talking dress code for 11 years. Haven't we, y'all that's been here 11 years? We have. Okay. You want to talk about that?
I just need, Ms. Broxton, Ms. Brooker, Coach English in here, and somebody from social studies to stay, and then, Coach Watts is in there. So there's somebody from English. Stay, that's it.
I think we got ASVAB today. Is it today?
Today.
Okay, we got ASVAB today, so it'll be some moving around and everybody know the rooms and the procedure. Anybody that's not aware of what's going on with the ASVAB. All right, any other concerns that I need to know of, that we need to talk about, that we need to discuss? All's good? Thank you, and have a fantastic day.
These were test scores from last year, so we have to finish it. So now we're just giving.
Right.
Teaches the and just the teachers that have these students, they can teach those kids.
Right. We talked about
Okay, because I know that it was last year's test, but it was down this year, it's over. Because we have to say we gave it to them. That's the only two we have for science. They haven't seen all of them yet, but that's when you're at. Yeah, we just give those to those teachers. Just make sure they go home. Or at least just make sure you give them, they know the kids' names. That's the big thing. Okay. I've got a problem on this, and this also, because English teaches do what?
I said, just a hit and there's some people sitting to look through.
Miss Carter, you have a package in the box to pick up. Mrs. Sam Carter, a package in the box to pick up.
Okay, so they just need to go through all the sheets together. And make sure they get it. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Yes, ma'am. Well, there should be an administrator standing right there, and, fine, tell the child to give you their ID. Just say, we just tell them, you know, or whatever, call the